Which album do you think has no bad songs on it and can be listened all the way through? I'm just going to sort by controversial to find some new music. It's always Led Zeppelin or Pink Floyd in posts like these. Do Little Pixies. Talking Heads. Remain in Light. Stop Making Sense is also amazing. Great live performance. The Stop Making Sense versions of songs are better than the studio versions. Imho. Disintegration. The Cure. Gorillaz. Demon Days. Outcast. Aquemini. Edit. Apologies if I did this wrong. I'm bad at the internet. But thanks for all of the votes and awards. Music is an art form and subjective, so none of these posts are wrong. And I found some good ones on here. If I had to round out my top 5, Beck. Morning Phase. Anything he does is amazing. Daft Punk. Homework and R.E.M. Automatic for the People. I have to show my fellow gamers some love as well. Mega Man 2 and 3. Borderlands 2 and 3 could sit in the main menu just for the music. Hollow Knight, Metroid Prime, and Zelda, A Link to the Past. Much love to the internet, and have a good day. Demon Days is just brilliant. I love Albarn's other projects, but none are perfect. Except for Plastic Beach. Portishead, Dummy. I'd argue Beck's Oddly is also fantastic all the way though. I would say Dummy and their self-titled album. Both. Third was an Evan. Unfortunately, although I do like it, I don't think it counts as no bad songs. Also, as long as we are on the subject of trip hop, I'd have a hard time finding weak spots in Tricky's Max Inque, Massive Attack's Blow Lines and Mezzanine. Or Nightmares on Wax's Smoker's Delight. Mezzanine was my first thought. Interpol Turn on the Bright Lights. Paul's voice at the end of Stella was a diver's. The Downward Spiral, 9 Inch Nails. Also Pretty Hate Machine. Best Nin album hands down. The Oh Brother Where Art Thou soundtrack. Legitimate perfection. Yoshimi battles the Pink Robots, The Flaming Lips. Unplugged in New York. Nirvana, as someone else said, got me into Nirvana. Except it was 1994 I believe. Played it on repeat on a long bus ride for a field trip in 6th grade. Sharing a Walkman with my friend. Fell in love. To this day, there's a part in Where Did You Sleep Last Night that still gives me chills. The whole album is absolute perfection though. I always felt so ripped off to never have seen them in concert. I was 11 when Kurt died. This album was the closest thing I had. Favorite band. Favorite album. Great ducking song, and it wasn't even Thiz lol. The Devil and God are aging inside me. Came here to say Deja Nintendo. But honestly I love all their stuff. Brand New is my favorite band. Play Crack the Sky was always so bone chilling live. With half the angst filled venue scream singing along at the top of their lungs. Brothers in Arms. Dire Straits, every song is brilliant. Wow, I'm shocked to see Dire Straits on here. I love Mark Knopfler, godly guitarist. Elton John, Yellow Brick Road. Why did I have to scroll so far for some Elton John appreciation? I agree. I would also add Captain Fantastic. Lost in the Comatorium. The Mars Volta recorded in a way that there are no pauses in between each song. It is a crime how low I had to scroll to find this answer. In some ways, it's become as if the band had never existed. Between how much I couldn't stand Nocturnique and them breaking up, I went from listening to their albums on a regular basis to forgetting they were my favorite band for years. Supertramp Breakfast in America. I / duck I'm / love Crime of the Century as well. Thanks Dad. Arcade Fire, Funeral. Blown Away. That are barely mentioned in this entire thread. I prefer The Suburbs, but could listen to any album in its entirety anytime. Might skip Chemistry if I'm not in an absolutely top mood. The Suburbs makes so much sense as an album too. It's a complete piece, not just a collection of songs. Give Up. The Postal Service. Give Up. The Postal Service. The current administration. Probably. Jar of Flies. Alice in Chains. But. Dirt. Man. It makes me sad. This was my favorite genre of music and almost everyone is gone. Scott Weiland. Lane Staley. Chris Cornell, Kurt Cobain. Glad Eddie and Dave are still around, man. Paul Simon, Graceland. My mom despises Paul Simon, so I didn't hear Graceland until I was an adult, and the first time I did, I listened to it 4 times in a row, all the way through, just all day. Perfection. I lived in South Africa during the time he went there to develop that album. You would not believe the amount of misinformation and bullshit that was traveling around, pre-internet, about how this hotshot from USA was coming here to exploit these local artists. In reality, outside of South Africa, these few artists that collaborated with him were exposed to the world and enjoyed fame. Some for a moment, others longer. I'm sure not many knew who Ladysmith Black Mambazo was outside of Southern Africa before then. Such a great album. Such a great mix of the varieties of music that are and were then regional and self-made. I feel little homesick every time I hear the album. Back to Black, Amy Winehouse. Smashing Pumpkins' Siamese Dream. Ducking love that album. Mayonnaise is the most brilliant song ever. My favorite SP song by far. Modest Mouse. Good news for people who love bad news. Lonesome Crowded Westerner. Moon and Antarctica are also great. Moon and Antarctica will always be up there for me. Songs for the Deaf Queens of the Stone Age. Red-Headed Stranger. Willie Nelson. IDK. If it counts, cause it's a sort of greatest hits. But Alice in Chains Unplugged is the greatest unplugged set ever recorded and the best greatest hits album ever put together. Fight me. How are we feeling out there? How's your drive time commute? I need a saga. What's the saga? It's Songs for the Deaf. You can't even hear it. That song is dirtier than 2 hobos 69ing in a fell over porta potty. The Rise and Fall of Ziggy Stardust and the Spiders from Mars. 5 years really hits hard these days. The line, I think I saw you in an ice cream parlor drinking milkshakes cold and long, smiling and waving and looking so fine. Don't think you knew you were in this song, has always gotten me. Fleet Foxes. I feel this way about Helplessness Blues as well, and Crack Up. It's a perfect discography. 10. Pearl Jam. I posted this one too. Guess I should've scrolled through the comments first. Feel like the whole album builds quite a mood. I think it is one of the few albums that really needs all the songs. They are great individually, but even greater as a whole. Release is such a good closer to Wish You Were Here by Pink Floyd. I came down to say Dark Side of the Moon. On a side note, I kinda find it weird to listen to individual songs from these albums BC they roll into one another, with the closing of one song becoming the opening of the next. Came here to say Animals. Blue Album. Weezer. I was going to say Pink Curtain. Love them both. Perfect albums through and through. Beach Boys Pet Sounds. Just got this on vinyl. I read Brian Wilson put most of it together while the rest of them went on tour. Genius. Don't Talk is haunting. Don't Talk is such a captivating song. John Cusack and Paul Dano play in a movie about the Beach Boys called Love and Mercy. Link. Wikipedia. org/wiki/love_%26 mercy_film. Highly recommend if you're interested in the recording process and the tragic life of Brian Wilson. Led Zeppelin. I've Glass Animals. Zabba. I still listen to Zabba quite often and it never gets old. Same with How to Be a Human Being. Illmatic. Nas. I saw Nas perform the entire album at Coachella. Best night ever. I saw him perform it front to back immediately after a screening of the Time Is Illmatic documentary, which covers his early life and the making of the album. Highly recommend the doc, and that performance hit different. When the credits rolled, the screen raised up, then Nas came out and killed it. I've seen him live around 6 times before that, often at much bigger venues, but that show in that little theater stands out as one of the best rap concerts I've ever been to. The Strokes. Is this it? Every song, every guitar tone, every lyric, every moment on that record. Duck yeah. Rage Against the Machine. Good Kid. D City. King Kendrick Lamar. Emo. As a piece of storytelling art. It's the greatest rap album ever. One of the greatest albums ever, period. It's definitely Kendrick's best work as an artist. That doesn't take away from his other works. But the storytelling in GKMC just eclipses everything else. The different perspectives. The shift of point of view between songs. All while telling a coherent story as well as giving a window into the life of a boy who has it better than most in his situation. But ultimately not that great. Fleetwood Mac Rumors. I don't wanna know the reasons why. Love keeps right on walking on down the line. The Killers. Hot Fuss. Smile like you mean it. Somebody told me. And all these things that I've done. Perfection. Tom Petty Wildflowers. Is this it? The Strokes. Cake. Fashion Nugget. Comfort Eagle for me. Stick Shifts and Safety Belts is one of the best to sing. Sard. Love Deluxe. Her music is ageless. Much like her physical form. She is a goddess among us mortals. Janet Jackson. Rhythm Nation 1814. This masterpiece will be 32 years old on Saturday and it's as painfully relevant as ever. Antonio Carlos Jobim. Wave. 1967. This album is not only one of the most beautiful works of bossa nova, but I feel like it's just a work of art. The string arrangements alone are worth a complete listen. 07. Simple Things. If you have had a rough day and just want to chill the duck out, this album is for you. Thievery Corporation. The richest man in Babylon. More upbeat than 07. But still very chill. What I love about Rob Garza and his band is that they take you on an oral journey of the world, spanning different continents, cultures and sounds. Plus, they are a sight to behold live with 25 plus people on stage, singing, dancing and playing what seems like an endless supply of instruments. Pink Floyd. The Dark Side of the Moon Tool. Literalis. I've gotta back you up on Literalis. It's about as perfect of an album as you can get. Guns N' Roses. Appetite for Destruction Rumors. Fleetwood Mac Core. Stone Temple Pilots. Had to scroll too far to find Appetite. I was just thinking the same thing. Was my first purchase. For me it would have to be Toxicity by System of a Down. And Demon Days by Gorillaz. Demon Days is a great album. Great ending. Superb Gorillaz album. A Night at the Opera by Queen. Honestly, just leave any album in the car for a fortnight, and it should do the trick. Boom. It's all Queen now. Someone's read Good Omens. Van Morrison. Moondance. Astral Weeks is perfect to me as well. Frank Ocean. Channel Orange. Came here to drop Blonde. Favorite album of all time. I could put Blonde on here, even if every track was Nights. That beat switch. Oh god. The rest of the album is incredible too though. Siegfried ducks me up in a different type of way. Jewel. Pieces of You no doubt. Tragic Kingdom Alanis Morissette. Jagged Little Pill. When I was 11 these were the first 3 CDs I bought. I thought buying CDs meant that every song was gonna be awesome. 3 weeks later I bought Chumbo Number, Tub Thumper, What a Rude Awakening, I'm Just a 38-year-old girl, and this entire response just viscerally transported me to Saturday night teen skate at the ice rink. I can smell the CK1 and strawberry lip balm in this thread. For Fighters, the color and the shape, every song on this album is such perfection. Everlong and My Hero are my 2 favorite songs of all time. Abbey Road, The Beatles. Why do I have to scroll so far down to find The Beatles? Voter fatigue. Black Holes and Revelations Muse. Absolution is my favorite by a wide margin. Dickie, Green Day. Huh. As if the name didn't give away your tastes in music. Great choice my guy. 100% agree. Coming Clean is my personal favorite lol. Pulling Teeth for me. It just swings. Cowboy Bebop. Original motion picture soundtrack. Seatbelts. It's gotta be Transatlanticism by Death Cab for Cutie. The way the songs flow into each other totally makes it feel off to skip any. Not to mention the 1-2-3 punch of Tiny Vessels. Transatlanticism. Passenger Seat. This is my absolute #1 pick. I love that album so goddamn much. behind transatlanticism. I would add Plans to the list. And then probably the Decemberists Picaresque. Ben Howard's I Forget Where We Were. Regina Spektor's songs. Relokill is the execution of all things. Sufjan Stevens' Illinois. And the Weak Earthens Left and Leaving. And probably Fallow, too. Led Zeppelin 4th. Led Zeppelin Wish You Were Here. Pink Floyd. Hybrid Theory. Meteora as well. TBH. Somewhere I Belong has to be one of my all-time favorite songs. I had little intention of listening to One More Light when it was released. When we lost Chester, I listened to LP because his voice was such a part of my early 20s and it was the easiest way to grieve. I listened to the new album, and while I'll totally agree that it's not nearly as gritty as their earlier stuff, I really like it a lot. Metallica Master of Puppets. I prefer Ride the Lightning, but Master is a good choice. Wait, so you guys are saying Justice has a bad song? Rush Signals. Moving Pictures is usually the top Rush answer, but Signals was my first and View then equally as perfect. But I also deeply love Power Windows and Hold Your Fire. I'm totally a Synthera fanboy. No 2112, not a bad song on the entire album. Porter Robinson, Worlds. Can't believe this is so low. Torches Foster the People. I played that album non-stop when it came out and rediscovered it a couple months ago. Still incredible. Octavarium, Dream Theater as an orchestral musician. Flute. I absolutely adore this album. There's so much intricacy in each song and they each connect to one another and pull off of each other to build into the next song. The most obvious ones that do it are The Root of Evil, Octavarium, where the first ends on an incomplete chord that the second eventually finishes, among other things. The irregular time signatures, 5/8 being the most prominent, and changes throughout the songs as well as the use of more than just traditional rock band instruments. An entire orchestra in the case of Octavarium make them all so interesting and keep you wanting more. I think the only song I usually skip is These Walls. But it's not because it's a bad song. It's great. I just prefer the others more in terms of the general melody. Soundgarden Super Unknown Blue Album Weezer Tool Lateralus. Enum of them is a dedication of Lauryn Hill, Herbie Hancock, Thrust, Crystal Method, Vegas, Beck Oatley, Guru, Colors, Nin, Pretty Hate Machine, The Fragile, A Perfect Circle, Medinoms, Nirvana, Unplugged, Nevermind, In Utero, Neon, Indian Psychic Chasms, Vega, International, Queens of the Stone Age, Songs for the Deaf, Tame Impala, Lonerism, In a Speaker, Current, Spencer Brown, Illusion of Perfection, Beatles, Revolver, Abbey Road, White. The Velvet Underground, Indigo is fantastic. If you like any rock music that was written after 1970, it was probably made using ideas borrowed from The Who. Dark Side of the Moon, Perfection. Also a shout out for Wish You Were Here and The Wall. Imo, the most underrated album in rock and roll history is Animals. Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band, The Beatles. A Fever You Can't Sweat Out by Panic at the Disco. Definitely one of the greats from that scene / era of alternative / punk / pop punk / whatever it was called at the time. Currents. Tame Impala. Surprised I had to scroll so far to see Tame Impala. Honestly, all of his albums could probably find their way into this post. Toxicity by System of a Down. Best opening song on an album ever. Incubus, Morning View. Natalie Merchant. Tijelili, Wu-Tang Clan. Enter the Wu-Tang, My Chemical Romance. The Black Parade, Pearl Jam. 10 Stevie Wonder. Talking Book, Frankie Goes to Hollywood. Welcome to the Pleasure Dome, Deltron 3030. Deltron 3030. MMN. Love that Deltron. The others are all excellent too. Pure Heroin. Lord, Ribs has no right to make me as sad as it does. Scrolled down a long way and did not see Steely Dan's Aja contains such wonderful songs as Deacon Blues, Brown Cow, Aja, Peg, and Home at Last. Precise, restrained passion, virtuoso performances, spectacular technical recording, just a delight from start to finish. The Black Keys, El Camino, hit after hit on that album. Neural Milk Hotel, In the Aeroplane Over the Sea. How is this answer not more popular? Jeff Mangum is an odd, eccentric genius. Two-Headed Boy Part 2 always hits hard. Linkin Park, Meteora. Bonus. It's one of those albums that, if you listen in order, all the songs blend into each other. That album got me through some shit. That album was one of the official soundtracks to my mental disasters during my youth. Radiohead, In Rainbows. YouTube and Rainbows, Live from the Basement. The talent just oozes. They're insane. Damien Rice, Oh Rel Lamontagne, Trouble. Damien Rice, oh is such a perfect experience. Radiohead, OK Computer. The National, Boxer. Elliott Smith, Figure 8. Rain in Blood by Slayer. Season is the one that tipped the scale for me. Dance with the Dead in My Dreams. Lord, Pure Heroine, 2014. I think Melodrama is also fantastic. Kendrick Lamar, To Pimp a Butterfly, and GKMC, and Damn. Section. 80 is way too underrated. Mac Miller Swimming. Watching movies with the sound off. Circles. All his music is incredible. Radiohead in Rainbows. John Mayer. Continue. The Search for Everything. Arctic Monkeys' favorite worst nightmare. Humbug. AM. I'll throw a curveball here, but there are 3 Blink 182 albums I think don't have any bad songs. Enema of the State, Take Off Your Pants and Jacket. Blink 182. AM. Arctic Monkeys. Finally get to Arctic Monkeys and it's the 3rd best Arctic Monkeys album. Where the duck is whatever people say I am. That's what I'm not. That album just hits different. Every single track is an absolute banger. Thought the exact same thing. Their first album can't be topped. Nirvana, In Utero Edit. A few more I thought of. Death from Above 1979. You're a Woman. I'm a Machine. The Strokes. Is This It? The Thermals. Duck in a Sonic Youth. Daydream Nation. The Strokes. Is This It? Is so much fun. It got me through correcting stacks of deadly papers. Daydream Nation was awesome. But I love even more the album before it, Schizophrenia. Also. The Pixies. Surfer Rosa. Also. Husker Du, Zen Arcade. Also. Miles Davis, Bitches Brew. Disintegration by The Cure. Riot by Paramore. Brand New Eyes is also all killer. No filler. U2. The Joshua Tree. Miles Davis. Kind of Blue. Stevie Ray Vaughan. Cold and Stand the Weather. Stevie Wonder. Songs in the Key of Life. Metallica. Ride the Lightning. Kind of Blue is fantastic start to finish. Hey, thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe.